Hey everybody, Breakthrough Health and Life Coach Glenn Hattem here. I'm here with my good friend Caitlin Quisenberry. Say hi, Caitlin.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks for
Caitlin
having
was Caitlin was a client of mine back in the days. I guess like how old were you when we started working together? Like I said, I
me.
was
Was I 16? Maybe
16,
16? Six?
2012. So
Yeah.
yeah, I worked with your whole family at the house there, yeah, when you're here in Colorado, now you're in Nashville. But Caitlin is someone that I've been actually following for some time. I told her, I was like, I've been stalking you lately to I'm just so intrigued and fascinated by how you just keep blossoming and really are following your truth, following your calling fiercely. And you've always been that. That's always been my experience of you. And it's just going to like another level. I'm like, holy smokes. And I know the next time I'm going to invite you back again, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we got this special guest here today.
Oh, you're so
Uh,
sweet. Thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be on this, and I just love what you're doing. So I'm happy to be a part of it.
yeah, maybe share with everybody a little bit about what you're up to in the world right now, and then I always like to kind of time travel back to what was the path like to even get here, and what was your conversation with yourself and the lessons you were learning along the way to get here.
Yeah, of course. So I just moved to Nashville, Tennessee, about a year and a half ago from Colorado. And I did that to pursue my country music career. So I'm a full-time singer right now. So I'm songwriting every day. I am playing out at different rounds in Nashville, and I'm recording music and releasing music about every 3 weeks. So it keeps me busy.
Yeah, you're churning it out. And if we're
Yes.
lucky, we'll get to hear your voice a little bit today. We'll see if we can attempt to. So you're fully committed. You're in the space to be, and you're swimming in musicians and talent, and it's reflecting. I'm assuming back to you that this is where I'm supposed to be, and these people are showing me it's possible. So you're really going for it, all in.
Yes, absolutely. And there were, I mean, at the time, I was planning on going to law school actually when I was living in Colorado. And there were so many signs that kept pointing me in a different direction that I thought, if I keep ignoring these signs, like something is really wrong. And so I just started leaning into those. And ever since I've come to Nashville, things have really just aligned. And I've met the most amazing people and the people I'm supposed to be with that have really helped push my career forward. And so I'm just listening to the signs and seeing where life takes me.
And almost in like the craziness of it, it's like all you have all these people that just get you without even almost a word said, right? It feels like you found your people, you found your culture. You've even dragged your parents. Your parents have come out there, they want to be close to you. Your parents have left the state. They're
Oh,
out.
well, it's crazy. So yeah, my parents decided to come out here with me, and when they were looking for a house, my dad found a random real estate agent on Zillow. And we meet with her and we're looking at houses, and she's like, "Why are you guys moving out here?" And he's like, "Well, I'm moving out here for my daughter. We want to be around her." And my mom's like, "Yeah, we're just really close family. We want to just stay together." And she's like, "Well, my husband's in the country music industry. He's the main writer and producer for Zach Brown Band."
Holy
She's
smokes.
like, "They should get together and they should start writing." And so I start writing with Ben, and he becomes my producer. And it's just insane. Our song just got put onto New Boots on Spotify. It has 500,000 streams. And so it's just really weird things like that. I mean, a random Zillow agent and her husband becomes my producer. It's just weird stuff. Just kind of keeps telling you that, okay, this is where I should be right now. So
Yeah, like when you do your part, the universe meets you the other half of the way. It's like you've created, I always like to say, it's like you created a vacuum. So I do my part, I can relax and trust that I'm just going to do this courageously, trust. And then all of a sudden, this vacuum is created, and then things flow to you almost like effortlessly, ridiculously,
right.
magically. I always hate using the word magic, but really, like you tap into magic.
Absolutely. That's what it's felt like. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more.
Now, going back in time,
Yeah.
so we're back in Colorado. Gosh, I think I was first introduced to you. I was working with your dad and then worked with your mom. Your mom was a former Miss Colorado, and you were getting ready for Miss Teen Colorado competition, and you were just plowing through your vocal lessons with your coach at the time. And your brother was just a little stud youngster with hockey. He's gone all the way
Yeah.
now, right? He's at Brown playing hockey,
Yes, he's
um,
playing D. Yeah.
and And so we're, when you're living this really extraordinary life with opportunities to really stretch yourself and challenge yourself, opportunities being provided for you to like really nurture that. What, you know, we were just talking earlier about great books to read to, you know, deal with our, you know, this Brene Brown book, which is Gifts of Imperfection. Just how like both of us have this kind of like bit of a perfectionist thing going on that we try to work with. When you were younger and you were working like diligently at all these things, what was your what was your personality like when you've got to like get from this thing to this activity? And you know, you had a quite a regimen growing up.
And that was something I think came from my parents. They always kind of put us in everything when my brother and I were younger, you know, take piano lessons, play soccer, play tennis, play hockey, whatever it may be, just to really see where our true passions, you know, lied, which was great because then from an early age, I was thrown into all these different things and had to be put outside my comfort zone, but I really got to find out what my passions were. And so that helped a lot. And then also, I think I developed a really strong worth ethic from when I was 16 years old. I found out I had dyslexia, which before that, I just thought I was a really bad reader. And I remember in first grade, that was the first time I really felt like I was stupid or like couldn't read as fast as my peers. And I just thought, you know what, I'm not a good reader. I just must be stupid. I just have to try harder. That was really like my thought process as a 6-year-old. And so because of that, though, I just tried really hard. I mean, I would stay up till 2 a.m. in middle school doing homework. And it wasn't until high school when I was taking the ACT that my tutor asked me to read a sentence out loud to her. And she's like, you know what? I think you have dyslexia, like the way you're reading this sentence. So she wanted me to get formally tested, and I did. And it kind of, everything came full circle, and I realized, okay, I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. Like, this is why. And I remember my mom told me, you know, there are all these smart people that have dyslexia. Don't look at it as like a bad thing that makes you weak. You know, I think Muhammad Ali has dyslexia. Einstein had dyslexia. Like, if you Google it,
I had an unprescribed reading disability and suffered like privately until only working through some difficulties in my life. I convinced myself I was going to read 21 books in 21 days, which then grew into 100 books. And then I read several hundred books, read 300 books in a year. And I really overcame this. You know, I've now become a reading addict, and I force all my clients to read, of course, because I want them to have this like private discovery with their own higher intelligence versus me being a guru on a mountaintop spitting out wisdom to them. But you know, I didn't know that about you. And most people don't know that about me, but like I struggle with this, and I might have seemed like I had my shit together. But like behind the scene, I was like, I got to work way harder than everybody else.
Everyone sees that you're getting like really good grades or you're this perfect person, but they don't know that what it takes to get that there. And that's why it went undetected in me for such a long time, is because I was getting amazing grades, but I was also killing myself and staying up super late to do it. So yeah, I mean, it's a crazy experience, but I think that's really what gave me my worth ethic that I'm now relaying into my career.
Yeah, it's so true. Like we have these kind of personal fires we have to work with that forge us, that develop these like superpowers. But it didn't come from a place of feeling like a superpower. It came from a place of like, I'm so restricted or I got this issue. I'm inadequate. Yeah. So then how do you work with that inadequacy to then, so you start to develop a trust in your ability to like, you know what, I'm going to work harder than everybody else does. You know, like I'm going to work harder so I can outwork anybody. I'm going to get up earlier, I'm going to stay up later, and I'm going to do more reps than everybody else. And that's how I'm going to win. In fact, most people take it for granted when they kind of are natural at some things. They just don't put even close to that effort. So over time, your efforts are compounding just way beyond everyone else because of
yeah, and everything was hard. Like school wasn't easy for me. So then when I relate it into sports or with music, it's like, well, this is just another different kind of hard. Whereas like my brother, for instance, I mean, he didn't even like study for a quiz. He's just naturally super smart. And so I watched him, you know, be able to just like whiz through things. But for me, it was it was always hard. So like I wasn't turned off by a challenge, I guess. And so that's really what's helped me.
Yeah, and he's such a little, well, he's not little anymore. Keeps saying force to be reckoned with. But now he has grown into this incredible young man. And yeah, so as you move into this like next phase of like you've followed your dreams, you've moved, you've engaged with community, all these things are coming in to support you. And now you're in this place of, as you just said earlier, you're churning out music like every few weeks. I mean, I'm just seeing you on like all the billboards of all the different things that are happening for you. Uh, that's coming from like an incredible work ethic and a relentless pursuit. This is my hard we talked about earlier. But maybe share a little bit about when one's like pursuing their dreams. What are some of the, I guess, the mechanisms that you are like, as long as I get up every day and do these things?
Yeah. And my path wasn't immediately when I graduated from Pepperdine, oh, I'm going to be a country music singer. I completely went the logical route at first. And I was like, I want to be in music, but I'm going to be an entertainment lawyer and do the practical, logical thing that makes a lot of money. And so I even graduated with a certificate from Pepperdine Law School. And I was studying, I got really good grades in college because I knew I wanted to go to law school. And so I took a gap year to study for the LSAT. And it was in that gap year that I started really thinking about, is this what God intended for me? And I remember when I first went to Pepperdine my freshman year, they asked us the question, like, why did God put you on this earth? What is your purpose? And I could never answer that as an 18-year-old, but I started thinking about that more as a 22-year-old when I graduated. And I just felt like, well, should I be a lawyer? All of these talents with singing and painting, I'm such a creative. Am I wasting those talents with being a lawyer? And I just did some soul searching in that year. And I started to miss having music in my life. I was always in choir growing up, and I graduated school and I had nothing. And so one night I posted a video on Instagram singing a Chris Stapleton song, just for fun, just for me, because I wanted to
remember seeing that.
yeah. And it flagged the attention of a producer in Nashville, and he invited me to come out and record with him. And the rest is kind of history, and it completely changed my life. And I didn't go to law school, but it was really me asking those questions, sitting by myself, giving myself time to kind of think about. I also started to think about, okay, when I was 5 and I didn't care about money and I didn't care about what people thought of me, what kind of a person was that 5-year-old? I was super creative. I loved art. I loved fashion. I loved singing. And I think somewhere along the way, a lot of that gets beaten out of you. You start getting more logical. You stop being creative. It's just part of life. And I wanted to bring that back. And that's what I focused on to start pursuing my career.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I often tell people there's like this parallel path of the have to and then what lights you up, and you're like missing it. You're missing it. It's like it's right here, and you're like I'm doing what I'm have to should be doing. I'm sure the first people who called were like, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm gonna like bail law school and go full throttle. You guys are the ones who got me the lessons."
Right. And it's hard because it's like you want everyone to be proud of you, and if you're a lawyer and you're successful and everyone's like, wow, you're so smart. And that was always a big thing for me. I wanted people to think I was intelligent because of my learning disability. And so it was hard for me to let go.
Compensation of that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it was hard for me to let go of that and switch into something creative. But no time is wasted. I mean, I'm still happy I went to college and I got a good education and I had really strong grades, because even with music now, you have to treat it like a business. Like you have to be smart. You can blow your money very quickly. It's an expensive industry to be in. And so I never look at those past experiences as wasted time.
Yeah. So you've been honing other intelligences that are actually part of and needed for this, for you to excel where other people hadn't done those, have just disregarded those aspects. So you're actually, it was looking back now, I was like, thank God I did this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, at one point I was like, oh, I wish I just moved to Nashville when I was 18 and I had a head start and I'm not like 26 trying to figure it out. But looking back, I mean, I am really happy that I have a good head on my shoulders. I'm old enough to understand the industry and I can really treat it like a business and not be dumb and make stupid mistakes. So.
Yeah. Well, how would you feel about sharing a little ditty for us of just this craft that you've been honing for some time? I think our audience would love it. I would love it because I just miss hearing your voice, and I get to hear you like up close and personal. And if I was there, I give you a big hug and be right there in person, just enjoying it. But this is the next best thing, and yeah, I think it would be just really special if we can just hear a little bit from you. I know we don't have a guitar handy right now.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I'll sing just a little something, one of my favorite songs. It's a little bluegrass tinge that I love. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
uh,
That.
it makes me giddy. I'm just real excited.
Well, there's a lot. All my music's on Apple, Amazon, Spotify. So if you want to listen to more, I'm constantly putting out a lot of music. So
Yeah, what's the best way for people to find you and get a hold of particular albums, like what's coming up next? Since you're always turning stuff out.
yeah, I'm so excited. I'm shooting a photo shoot for my next album cover next week. So I'm very excited. I'm actually releasing a really fun kind of like pop country song, but it has some disco elements.
Ooh,
It's called Good on Me. And then I'm also releasing, I haven't told anyone this. This is like, this is, you
heard it
got
here first.
exactly. I'm releasing a really cool cover of Killing Me Softly. You remember that song by Roberta Flack from a long time ago? So I'm completely redoing it and making it current. But I'm really excited to put that out because I've always loved that song, but I wanted to do my own twist on it.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like there are people probably hear you in the country world, but you also have so many skill sets with your voice. So I'm curious to hear more. Even though you have gone this country route, I've heard you in other realms, and I'm assuming you've also got surprise realms for everyone else too coming. So just other octaves that you're going to go to.
Totally. That's been a huge thing for me because I was trained classically in college, German, Italian, Latin, opera music. So I feel like I've been in a lot of different genres, but I love country music because of the storytelling. And so I always play around within the country genre a little bit.
This young woman can belt it. Not come from someone who has singing skills, but just trust. I think you'll be very, very happy with that. How will they spell your last name, and how will they so they just don't miss a detail? They find you on Spotify. I just want to make sure everyone can get directly to you and start listening after this.
Yes, so it's Caitlin, Caitlin Quisenberry, Quisenberry, and you can find me on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your music. And then my website is CaitlinQuisenberry.com, and you can also find me on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, just my name.
So maybe for the last thing before we wrap up today, like what would be three things that come to mind? Maybe just sit with this for a moment. But what would be three things that um, someone else who's on a similar path, who's inspired by you, um, who's looking to figure out where they're getting in the way of themselves, like what rather than what they need to do, what do they maybe need to remove and let fall by the wayside now, like to move forward to the next stage of their development? What comes to mind for you when you've had to step into the new chapter and step into new shoes and really put forth your full authentic, more, I'm in Boulder here, we use authentic a lot, so we hug trees, and but what is it that will help one really shine their light and their full expression of themselves uninhibited, and that maybe you've learned along the way that could be helpful to them, whether it's music or whatnot?
Yeah, I would say sitting with yourself and getting bored helps a lot because when you're bored, that sparks creativity or that sparks you to be with yourself. And that's a lot of the time I've had my best ideas when I'm just bored by myself, you know.
Versus
um,
distracting yourself. Yeah.
yeah. Number two, I think it's, surround yourself by people that inspire you or are doing what you want to be doing. I also have a great newsletter that I put out weekly about just how to motivate people. And I share different life lessons that I've gathered over the years. And it comes out every morning and it just like sparks people, because people need that. People need that motivation or a different way to look at something. And so I think, yeah, surrounding yourself or, having a newsletter or someone that kind of like sparks that within you. Trying to think of a third one. I guess just really thinking about what your purpose is. I mean, we have such a short life on this earth, and it's so.
I think your volume got hit. Might be on my end. The volume just went out here. Wow, we got this incredible voice here. We can't hear her. Unless you can't hear me. It just muted out for. Weird. Oh, there you are. Oh, you're back now. Okay. So.
Weird. Why?
Okay. Technology sometimes.
I don't know.
Everyone got muted and they're like, follow your purpose.
Follow your purpose. Yeah, really think about what your purpose is, because we have such a short amount of time left on this earth. And so it's like, how do you want to make the biggest impact? And really don't worry about what other people think of you. I think that holds a lot of people back, is just the fear of being seen and the fear of what other people will say.
It's more painful not to be seen, right? To not be really seen.
Yeah. And to be honest, like, this helps me. This is kind of like cutthroat, but people are so busy with their own lives that they're really not looking at you the way you're looking at yourself. Like, you can mess up and you can stumble and fall, and most people are not even going to notice.
Yeah, they're just projecting their stuff onto you.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of makes me feel a little calmer about the situation. I'm like, everyone's so focused on themselves that they're not going to notice if I stumble and fall a little bit. It's okay not to be perfect the first time around. So.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for that share, for your share today, being here with us, and for everyone listening in. It's pretty extraordinary for me to be with this amazing blossoming young woman who's like, I see a lot of your mother in you now. I'm cracking up. I'm just like, I feel a lot of these redeeming qualities your mother has bestowed, and shining through you, and your own uniqueness that's expanding outwardly. So it's a real treat. Just where you're at now and where you're going. I'm so excited about being on the journey with you, and I really appreciate everybody listening in. And again, just want to say thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
Go listen to her music.